I was packing my last duffel when the message came through. Thanksgiving week. My first one home in 3 years. Her text read, "Thanksgiving is better without you. The kids don't want you here either. Stay there." I stared at it until the words blurred. No explanation, no hesitation, just cruelty. Efficient, deliberate. I didn't call, didn't ask why. I simply replied with one word. Understood. The barracks were quiet except for the faint hum of the generator outside. The kind of silence that sits heavy on your chest and dares you to break it. That's when I made the change. One line in the logistics form, barely noticeable. A quiet correction that meant my homecoming flight would take a slightly different route. By the time anyone realized, the orders would already be filed, and I'd have 72 hours before anyone questioned a thing. 72 hours to go home. 72 hours to see what she'd turned into while I was gone. When the plane took off, I wasn't thinking about love, just truth, and what it costs. The house looked smaller than I remembered. The grass was dead, the curtains drawn. I parked 2 streets away and walked. My boots barely touched the pavement. I'd learned to move quietly over worse terrain. Through the window I saw them. Her, my wife, and a man sitting where I used to sit, cutting turkey with my knife, laughing with my kids. He wore my apron, the one with the grease stain from our first Thanksgiving together. The kids didn't look uncomfortable. They looked used to it. Something inside me shifted. Not rage, just a cold alignment. A recognition that I'd been erased long before I left. She texted again that night. "Don't make this harder than it needs to be." I didn't respond, just saved the number she used to text from. A second phone. That was my first clue. Over the next 2 days, I became a ghost in my own life, watching from the edges, listening. I followed them once, kept my distance. She was holding his hand at the park where I taught my son to ride his bike. They laughed like they'd earned it. Her eyes were different now, colder, practiced. The kind of eyes that have learned to lie without blinking. That night I went through her social media. Hidden albums, private messages, photos of trips she never mentioned, dates that didn't match her stories. Then I found it. The paperwork. She'd been filing separation forms while I was overseas, using my absence as grounds for abandonment, claiming half my benefits, the house, full custody. All signed, all approved. Dated 3 days before her "stay there" message. She didn't want me home. She wanted me erased. And that's when I knew. This wasn't betrayal born from loneliness. It was strategy. And strategy is what I understand best. On the 3rd night, I made my move. I left a manila envelope on her porch. No name, no note, just evidence. Copies of her messages, bank transfers, hotel receipts, and one additional document. One she didn't know I had access to. Her boyfriend's discharge papers. Fraudulent. He'd falsified his medical claims, filed under a fake identity, paid through a shell account linked to her. I waited. At 2:37 a.m., my phone buzzed. 19 missed calls, 1 voicemail, her voice trembling. "What did you do? You've ruined everything. Do you know what this means?" Yes, I knew exactly what it meant. Military fraud, identity theft, federal offense. By sunrise, both their names were flagged in the system, her accounts frozen, his benefits terminated. The same system she used against me had just swallowed her whole. She showed up at my motel 2 hours later. No makeup, no control. A shell of the strategist she'd once been. "You did this," she spat. "You destroyed my life." I took a sip of coffee, didn't look at her. "Correction," I said. "You built your life on mine. I just took back the foundation." She broke then, collapsed against the wall. Not because she lost money or comfort, but because she lost control. For people like her, that's worse than death. I stood, grabbed my bag. "I'm leaving town. The kids are safer with your mother. I made sure of that. Her eyes widened. She understood then. Every step, every silence had been deliberate. And the quietest revenge is the one that looks like nothing. I drove out before sunrise. Fog swallowed the road, the kind that makes everything feel temporary. I thought about the years I'd lost, birthdays, holidays, first steps, and how she'd filled those spaces with lies. But I didn't feel hate, just the clean emptiness that follows truth. When I crossed the state line, I turned off my phone. No more calls, no more explanations. She wanted me gone, now she has it. The military taught me a lot about loss, but it taught me one thing more important. You can't kill what's already learned to disappear. And I disappeared perfectly.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.